Many people in the world have sex on a regular basis. Those people usually don't immediately think of such things as STIs, STDs, HIV, and AIDS. With the fact of such things as those diseases, many people aren't actually educated on them. STI and HIV education is not formally introduced in schools. It may be introduced once or twice, but it is never fully known. In an article by Persuasive, they pinpoint how minorities and young female adolescent girls are constantly affected by the effect of STIs and specifically chlamydia and gonorrhea, and minorities bear the brunt of it. So, what I want to persuade you all is the inclusion of more STIs and HIV education. Most schools, the main problem with not having the education of STIs and STDs, many people think it's just I'm invincible and I can do whatever I want. Whereas they're actually endangering the lives of their partners, themselves, and future partners. With the problem in hand, many people must figure out a solution. And what I want to propose is a very simple solution, very quick and painless and very meaningful solution. But first, I'd like to discuss more on the problem itself. Another problem, which was noted by Foster, is that STIs in general and the knowledge surrounding them are a particular stigma, a stigma that many people like to try to avoid. So, when it comes to getting the knowledge of preventative care or treating them, many people do not go for them. And that's a problem in its own, but that's for another day. With my, I'd now like to propose a very simple solution that would ease all the problems and make sure that anyone and everyone has readily available access to such knowledge. One very easy solution would be the fact of gaining or introducing sexual, much more in-depth sexual education in the schools and in one's own community, which would be um, probably more of the sense of adding a community health center that teaches classes, and also probably for schools adding in a regular sex ed class, because when I was younger there was no sex ed class actually introduced. I myself knew nothing about STIs and STDs. I was told of them once. The specifics of them I had to look up. And so it would be in everyone's best interest to have a readily available access and knowledge of STIs, STDs, and HIV preventative care, as well as just knowledge of the diseases. So even though people may try to object to the issue, to the problem, to the solution, it will be very simple. The cities themselves, or states, or even still maybe federal government could all come together and add small health centers in cities and say these health centers will provide these classes, or if there's already one in a city, they can provide more classes on gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, STIs in general, and HIV and AIDS. For the schools, it would be very beneficial if you added in a natural, very important sex ed class that would probably be in all students' best interest to take while they're in high school or middle school. It's not a bad thing to learn it as young as like middle school or junior high school. It lets them know that these are out there and yes, they are a thing, but there are ways to prevent them, and they can know about them beforehand. Um, as a conclusion of what I've been saying, you want to focus around the idea of STIs and HIV. It can be prevented, but you also must know how to prevent them. So, information and knowledge involving them must be readily available to all people, to be available to teenagers, young adults, adults. There are many people who are still in their preteens that know nothing about STIs, but they may or may not be having sex. So it doesn't help them. I mean, it will help them to have this knowledge. And so, an action I would love for everyone to do is, especially now, since there aren't readily known available places to get this information, is to research it on your own. Use scholarly sources or Google, things that will really introduce the information to you, but also talk to your doctors and discuss with them. I'd like to know more about these, and a doctor will probably be the best person, or a health official will be one of the best people to go to learn about STIs and STDs. And so I highly recommend and I highly persuade you all to do just that and to learn more and to stay healthy.